Hello again, Power Rangers family, friends, and fans. Steve Andrino, aka Baboo, here. Now, in our last episode of Baboo's Monster Review, we reviewed Season 1, Episode 3, an episode entitled Teamwork. And the monster of the week was the Mighty Minotaur. Now, in the video, I briefly touched on a little bit of the mythology of the Minotaur. I wanted to take a few minutes, do a separate video just to go into that. First off, the word Minotaur comes from Mino, which is for Minos, King Minos, and Taur, which is Greek for bull. As anybody who follows the zodiac knows, Taurus, the bull, just means bull the bull. Okay, so King Minos' stepfather, Asterion, passed. Because Asterion and Europa did not have any male children of their own, it was a question as to which of the children was going to become king. Europa's three sons, Minos and his two brothers, were all offspring of Europa and Zeus. Minos declared that he should be king and prayed to Poseidon for a sign to show his brothers that he should ascend to the throne. Poseidon sent to him a gorgeous white bull from the sea as proof, as a sign, but then Minos was supposed to sacrifice the bull back to Poseidon. He decided not to, based on the beauty of the bull, and sacrificed another bull in its place. This angered Poseidon, so Poseidon cursed Minos' wife Pasiphae and made her fall in love with the bull. So much so that Pasiphae approached Daedalus, the renowned architect on the island of Crete, or Crete, to build her a wooden hollowed-out cow that she could get inside so she would be able to mate with the bull. And for those who aren't familiar with Greek mythology, lots of weird relations going on. I'll leave it at that. Okay, so Pasiphae gives birth to a son who has the head and tail of a bull. The rest of his body is human. She names him Asterion after his grandfather. Well, Minos is so horrified at the sight of this creature that he banishes him. He actually goes to Daedalus and says, I need you to build me a labyrinth to house this creature. Daedalus does so. The Minotaur is placed at the center of the labyrinth, and then Minos demands a sacrifice of young men and maidens from Athens to feed to the Minotaur as compensation for the Athenian people killing his son Androgeus. In all likelihood, several accounts place that reason for his death being that he won all the Olympic Games and they were jealous. Whether the Athenians did it themselves or had other people ambush him depends on the source that you read. All right, so anyway, back to the Minotaur is at the center of this labyrinth, and what I'm going to do here actually, there we go. Let's start off actually with the labyrinth. Now, if you look at them, and this is a mosaic of the labyrinth, and I've seen a lot of depictions of the labyrinth being round, but if you look at it, it's not really a maze as we tend to think of it, with dead-end passages and things like that. It's really, there's only one route to follow through the whole thing. But not knowing that and being sent into it, I could see where that might be a little frightening. Anyway, after the third time that the sacrifice was called for, and based on differing accounts, that could have been every year or every 9 years, Theseus, the founder of Athens, felt that this was unfair, and to protect his people, he volunteered to go along with the intention of slaying the Minotaur. As he gets to Crete, he actually is seen by Minos' daughter, Ariadne, who falls in love with him and agrees to help him defeat the Minotaur. She begs Daedalus to tell her the secret of the labyrinth so she can allow Theseus to get through it. Daedalus recommends that she give him a very long ball of string so he can use the string to trace his path through the labyrinth, so he's got no fear of getting lost. He goes into the labyrinth, finds the Minotaur, they battle. Now in this picture here, he's got a sword and the Minotaur's got a shield, and the Minotaur's got like a rock. Most of the mythology is that he either slew him with his bare hands or with a club. We have here actually a statue of the Minotaur. Again, bullhead, looks like it's going to be human arms. It's just from waist up. We can see a spot where there should have been horns, but even in the artwork here you can see its tail, head, and everything else is human. Theseus was able to defeat him and find his way back out of the labyrinth. Now, there was only one Minotaur in mythology, although with the advent of recent games, Dungeons and Dragons type games, fantasy game, role-playing games, we tended to see him being more bull-like, where you can see here actually he's got the cloven hoofs of a bull, his legs are covered in fur, but it still has like the torso and hands of a human. And actually it's nice in this picture, he's actually got the spiked mace that he has here in the Power Rangers episode. Typically though, when we think of modern Minotaurs, we tend to think of them carrying an axe for some reason. And again, they've got him covered up because the torso is still human, but again, you can see the cloven hoofs, more furry than a human would be. And it looks like that's kind of what they went with for the Power Rangers episode. Again, they gave him the cloven hoofs, the fur, although they kind of look like boots on there. It's probably how they were built to make it easier for the actor to get into and out of. He's got the spiked hammer here. It's a little blurry in this shot, unfortunately. They've got him carrying a shield with horns on it as well. See, the horns kind of match a little bit. The horns on his head. So, there we go. That is the brief history of the Minotaur. And thanks for tuning in to this little short. And please tune in for the next episode of Baboo's Monster Review. Thanks, and remember, monsters need love too.